you take your whole week's salary and buy an ad. And I actually forgot I did it. And I started getting phone calls in my little 2-bedroom apartment with my new baby. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Hey guys, it's your girl Nick again, and welcome to another edition of the Bo Knows Business. I am your host today. I'm also the founding member of the Bo Collective. We are a group of 52 amazing Black women owners who have all scaled our businesses to a minimum of $1 million. The stories that we share are both personal and inspirational, and today is no exception. Today, we are having one of my oldest, dearest friends. She is just a sweetheart, and we go back way back. Miss Ann Williams of R.A. Movers. How
Hey,
are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Nick. It's just so wonderful to be part of this Bo journey with you. It's been such a needed opportunity for we as Black women.
Well, I am just so, I love you so much. We have all been together on this entrepreneurship journey, but today I want to talk about you and you only. We are having such a great time with this podcast because we are really getting insight on some of the themes that help shape your life, right? You didn't just wake up one day and become fabulous, although maybe you were, like, you might have been just fabulous in utero, I'm thinking. But we want to share your story. We want to know about your upbringing. Where were you born? How was your family? And what early influences in little Ann's life, what did they look like?
Well, I was actually born in Washington, Georgia. My father was an undertaker. Believe it or
Okay, yes, those were one of the main staples of entrepreneurship in the Black community, girl.
Yeah. So, and my stepfather was a barber. And so I had the advantage of having two amazing men in my childhood. And my mother was a registered nurse.
Awesome.
So I was born in Washington, Georgia, and relocated to West Philadelphia, born and raised. uh, you know, right around the corner from Will Smith
Oh wow!
in
Oh
the
wow!
overgrowth section. I'm a product of Catholic schools, raised by nuns. So I'm a private school baby. I was pretty much, I always kind of thought off the beaten track. And I
Mhm.
always sort of identify with people that were underserved. I got that from nuns early on. And I always wanted to be a little something different. I went to Millersville University in Pennsylvania, and I didn't graduate there. It was a predominantly uh, uh, not Black. It wasn't an HBCU, and for me, one of the advisors there said, you can really benefit from having the camaraderie of an HBCU.
Okay.
And I didn't exactly get it, so I transferred to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, and I got it there. And I graduated.
Uh,
And so my major was English, and I initially wanted to sort of go into law, but I started reading contracts.
and
And
then you were like,
bing!
crickets.
So, and I'm a grandmom's baby. So I'm the
Mhm.
product of two really strong grandmothers who didn't have any more than a sixth grade education.
Yes.
And that's where I got all the loving kindness and the prayers.
Yes.
But my business essentially started right off the kitchen table. I had a spouse that was working for designers delivering furniture, and I was newly married, and we seem to never have enough money.
Tell us what year that was, because so we got that first
Oh my
chapter, and
gosh.
now we got to keep it real, girl. So we're your entrepreneurial spirit. You got that just authentically from your parents, those early influences. You talk about, hey, we're kindred spirits. I was a Catholic school child myself. Oh my gracious, kindergarten through 12th, and girl, I barely know that our father, that's a lot of school, but I'm just playing. I'm playing Jesus. I'm playing Lord. Sorry. Anyway, but so we got that. So we know the structure, we know that discipline, we know where the need for caring for others came from. So now we're going into chapter 2, and we're looking at, Anne as a young wife, and you said that your husband had a job in furniture moving, etc. Right?
Exactly.
All right.
So
So what year are we talking about? On or about, around? Give us
on
a
or around the late 80s, early 90s.
there we go. All right. I love it. I love it. And so how did you come into play? That was his gig. How did you come into this?
So I could see that he had the real muscle. And, he said, if I had a truck, I could really do something. And I said, yeah. And since I'm doing paperwork, I could do something too.
Mhm.
Let's run an ad in a local paper and see what happens. And we
Oh.
ran an ad in a directory, and I was shocked. I would just ring the phone thinking it was a sales call. It was like,
Uh-huh.
I need a mover. I'm like, what? So,
So the
boom,
so the early version of Craigslist, the old school advertising worked for you.
yellow pages.
I love it. Dude, you know what? We might have some millennials listen. Can you tell them what the yellow pages is, girl?
Not the yellow pages where you take your whole week's salary and buy an ad and just, and I actually forgot I did it. And I started getting phone calls. Can you help me move here? Can you help me move there? And I would be in my little 2-bedroom apartment with my new baby. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And let me take your information. We're just starting out. I didn't, I would just say, we'll help you. And that
Mhm.
shot right off the kitchen table.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I think this is so important because I'm trying to do the both and listen for our listeners and let them know these nuggets, because a lot of people don't know where to start and never think they're ready, and they don't have their brand, they don't have the truck, they don't have this. But what I have heard, not only from you but several of our other business owners, is some, yeah, they had a plan, but a lot of them were like, they had the passion and they're like, let's just start. Was your experience?
That was my experience. It was just, let's just start. It was just, let's just get a little supplemental income and get this to pay our little 500 a month rent.
Yes.
And
Oh.
and then, he said, if I had a truck, I could really stop renting trucks to do this. And all the money I had in the world was an income tax check for $2,000. And he said, let me have it. And I'm looking at him like, you're kidding. You're not taking all my money. I gave it to him. And with prayer, he actually put a down payment on the truck, and the rest is pure history.
Oh my gracious, girl. I don't think you ever told. See, that's why I love Bo Knows Business. I learned something when I think I know, I don't even know. That is amazing. All right. So then the next phase, this is where it really, really gets good, because we know the statistics. Most entrepreneurs, 90% of us are solopreneurs. Then we know the statistic about only 4% of all women owned businesses hit that $1 million mark. So there has to be some secret sauce there. We really want to know that scaling of the business. what did that look like practically for you? Did you have more, usually people are like, oh, I don't have enough money to afford people. I don't have enough money to get another truck. What was your first scaling decision?
I think the first scaling decision was to take that job that seemed a little bit out of our reach and to realize that that was a problem because we really didn't have the resources to do it, but it was a good problem
Yes.
because when we got the job to scale, there were people that automatically jumped in to say, "Hey, I'll help. I'll subcontract with you. I'll do this." Because if you're paying them, they're
Yeah.
going to help you.
Yes.
And when you develop long term relationships with people that you do a good job for, that's what happens. And in our case, we did a private move job for a woman that we didn't know she was the curator for a museum. And she said, "You know, you have done such a good job and you're valuing yourself. I I have a museum that I'm the curator for. If you take this level of care and concern, you move the museum." And that put us on the map.
Oh my gracious, girl. So again, kind of that faith walk, that stretching out a little bit beyond what you can see, but believing that you can do it. And you're saying that other people, once you did that, they're like, I will chip in, I will chip in. I know a lot of people that I coach are always like, I don't want to tell people about it. They might steal my idea. They might steal this. And I always say it's the very opposite, is that you have to speak it as though it does exist. And people come into agreement with your vision. They come into agreement with your belief in yourself and your enthusiasm. And that seems to be what happened with you as well.
That's exactly what happened. They lined right up, and it was other smaller companies that said, "Hey, you know, we don't have the insurance or the wherewithal, but you do, and we'll just get behind you." And I made them sign an agreement. They put our motto into place, and they started working. And nobody can steal what's really yours.
I know that's right. Oh,
They-
that's a quotable quote. And it is true, because number one, there may be, 1,000 tennis shoes. There may be 1,000 jewelers, but each one has a unique way that they are messaging, that they are treating their customers, the look and feel, and that can't be replicated if you do it authentically, right? That can't be replicated. So I absolutely love that. I want to pivot just a bit. The Bow Collective, we talk about the 3 C's: capital, communications, and contracts. I want to talk about capital for a minute, because our listeners out there, again, they are visionaries. They believe, but they also know, that it takes money to really scale businesses. What have been some of the challenges, or even great experiences that you have had as a business owner with capital?
So, like most entrepreneurs, I would take the same way people tie to churches. I always would take a percentage of the last job, and I would use it to finance another job. And that is, you know, just how we just had to do it. So when everybody had the big house and the flashy cars, I was still in my little townhouse. And I was using the money to finance stuff, and finally we got a little bit um bigger. And as you know, as entrepreneurs, we use our personal credit to finance a lot. So
Yes,
we
we do.
went through a lot of bumps and bruises. And actually, only now we're starting to reap the benefits of getting some capital um, behind us, and also raise our children and live our life as well. So it's a journey for an entrepreneur.
Do you feel, one of the things, obviously, the Bow Collective, we are a group of Black women who have done these extraordinary things. We beat odds. Do you feel that there have been any obstacles that you have faced as a Black woman entrepreneur? Um, if so, how have you clearly overcome them to a certain level? What are some of those issues, and what are your strategies and things that you can share with other entrepreneurs who may feel that there are liabilities that are in their way that they need to address?
Well, one of the things that I have learned being an entrepreneur is, and I get a little choked up thinking about it, is I have received more contracts, looking for contracts for other people. Meaning, I've met other business women that have said, I do cleaning, I do printing. And, and I'll say, okay, the next time when I start looking for contracts, I'll look for you too. And then I've stumbled across something for moving. I'm like, what? So give back. And then you develop these amazing relationships where people are letting you know, hey, I got capital here, or I was
Yeah,
able to access capital, or I have a great relationship with a banker that's here. And that's some of the strategies that I've done. And I've also been extremely loyal to people that have given me an insurance certificate I needed on the spot for a business. I'll
yes.
stay with them, or an accountant that has done something. So loyalty, giving back, and really trying to hold on to capital when you get a chance to have a little bit of expertise.
I love it. Those are things that are just good life values, whether you have a business or not. Being loyal to people that are good to you, saving for the rainy day, having your rainy day fund, and being of service to other people. I mean, those are just hallmark, hallmark good people things. And that is one of the reasons that I love you, adore you so much. You embody those things. You have done all of those things for me. Always been one of my biggest sisters, cheerleaders, ride or die with Miss Ann. Always, always. So I want to end. We have a few more minutes. I want to talk specifically about the Bow Collective. And what does it mean to you? Why did you say yes? What are you hoping to get out of it? And what do you do with the organization? I know that's a lot, but just it's bow time, girl. It's bow
Yeah,
time.
I can wrap it up. Number one is this needed to happen so long ago. And for me, if I never got anything else out of it, I'm good right here. But I know that I'll get a lot out of it. The Bow Collective has meant to me that I have a safe place to be vulnerable, to tell these women, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. They already know we're all warriors.
Yes.
And the fact that, I was in a safe space. I've had the privilege of developing a relationship with you, and everybody doesn't have that. And anybody that doesn't, I don't want to pour too much butter on her, but that's a ride or die right there. And the Bow Collective, we're sharing information, we're giving back. These are women that have already been in the trenches. They know where all the bodies are buried. They
Yes.
know what's happening. They can tell you. They can jump you through some of the hoops. They're one-on-one personal people. We're all extremely busy. But this Bow Collective has needed to happen for a long, long time. And I don't know if you can see it, but I actually keep my bow,
I see.
my first bow thing up on the wall.
Oh, I love
But
it. Love
because
it.
this is an historical thing that will last for generations to keep it going. And other women are going to look for us. And I know a lot of people are trying to copy what we do. That's okay. We want them to do that
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
we're kicking the door down. And these are just amazing women. The Bow Collective should have happened a while ago, but we're here now, and I just can't say enough about it. I'm a fan.
Oh, honey. Well, I get chills, and just knowing that we will forever be tied in this amazing sisterhood, and its foundation is really love. It's the values that you just mentioned, that we trust, we are of service to each other, we are looking out for each other in addition to ourselves. That's the glue. And I know that it will grow, and I absolutely hope that it's replicated, because it's something good. All good things need to be replicated, right? All good things where we are being collaborative in our efforts, not competitive. When we are being of service, we're putting each other first. We're putting this organization, at least standing it up against our other responsibilities, because we all care so much for each other, and what it means to have Black women come together for economic reasons, because it will be replicated within our communities, and we will say we were there. We were fire starters, and I'm so happy you're there with me to light this beautiful flame. Thank you, Miss Ann. Thank you so much.
You.
Can I just leave you with one thing? How can people stay in touch with you? I know they're going to be beating down your doors, girl. Give us your contact information.
Sure. Call us 410-888-9311, or RA Movers at ramovers.com. How about that? RAMOVERS.com. And you get in touch with us.
Perfect. Thank you, sister. Thank you so much for joining us today. And that concludes, y'all. I'm telling you, these women are fire. They just light me up for the inside. They are my motivator. They are my inspiration to keep going, keep growing. I hope you got some amazing nuggets today. Please share, put your comments down there for Ann or any of our other sisters that you want to get good information on. Follow us on thebowcollective.org. Follow us on social media, thebowcollective.org. We can't wait to help you, to learn from you, and to share our secrets. Thanks so much for joining us again. Take care.